Traveling between the U.S. and Canada may require a little extra planning and a lot of extra driving come January. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says it is scaling back hours at several points of entry. Some smaller crossings could only be open 12 hours a day. ABC 22's Matt Laufer explains.
Here in the North Country, there are 9 border crossings between Massena and Rouses Point. The 2 main crossings, Massena's Seaway International Bridge to Cornwall and 87 to 15 between Champlain and St. Bernard, will both remain open 24 hours a day. The Moores Crossing is unique in that the U.S. side is open and will remain open 24 hours a day, but the Canadian side is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Of the remaining 6 crossings, there are 2 already operating on limited schedules, and the other 4 will be scaled back in January.
It's disappointing for sure. I mean, with the closure of Chateauguay and Trout River, the only 24/7 border opening is Massena, that far to the west. In this way, Champlain.
4 crossings will see new operating hours. Chateauguay and Trout River will be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Overton Corners will be open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and the Rouses Point crossing will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The reason for the closures, staffing. A greater need for staff at the larger crossings means shifting agents from the smaller points of entry. Staffing shortages are something many industries are facing, but Jones says this creates a whole other set of issues.
I understand what they have to do here on the local level, but this is an overall burden. Not only a burden, it could be a real issue to some of our localities, some of our locals here in getting, like I say, fuel deliveries across the border. They run 24/7.
Many fuel distributors cross all hours of the night.
When we're talking about fuel deliveries and our distributors trying to get those tankers across the border, which it's gonna you're either gonna have delays and or they're gonna have to reroute their trucks, which will be more of an expense to them. Eventually will be more of an expense to our residents.
Meanwhile, in Rouses Point, restaurant owners are also concerned about the long-term effects the closures could have.
If they're looking to come down to spend the weekend and all of a sudden they show up at 9 o'clock and they can't get through, now all of a sudden they're using a different port and then all of our businesses don't reap that reward.
Vanier is also optimistic that it's a traffic issue, and if traffic picks back up, the hours could be re-examined.
It's one of those things we got to play out, and hopefully it works out for the best.
In Plattsburgh, Matt Laufer, ABC 22 News.
Now, in Vermont, 4 border crossings will also reduce hours. Alburgh, Canaan, North Troy, and West Berkshire ports of entry will be open between 8 in the morning and 8 at night. Alburgh Springs, Derby Line, and Pittsburgh, New Hampshire not changing hours, but those times vary.